made contact and shattered.
At some point, Chris locates what's called a driveway.
Brian Laundrie's body has been found. Law enforcement had considered Laundrie the only person of interest in the murder of his fiancée, Gabby Petito.
That's all it is the truth. So there's nothing to hide in that coroner's report. There's nothing to hide by not having Kylie take a polygraph. And if the truth comes out, and this was
reference to a missing 4-year-old, the parents have called in and advised that the mother had went for a walk, came home, now they can't find her. They've been dealing for her. She's been gone for about 10 minutes now.
Hello?
It's gone.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here for another ATS live stream. This is an early morning one covering the Kiely Rodni case. And I just really appreciate you guys all being here. Please like this video before we get started. And we'll start off with just the basics of the case, and then I'll get back and talk.
Kiely Rodni was last seen at a campground party in Truckee, California on August 6th at around 12:31 a.m. She is 16 years old, she has multiple piercings, and the tattoo of the number 17 on her ribs. She is 118 pounds, has blonde hair and hazel eyes. If you have any information, please call 530-886-5375 or 911. She drives a 2013 Honda CR-V with the license plate number 8YUR127. She is described as 5'7" and was last seen wearing green dicky pants, a black tank top, and jewelry. Kylie also has scars on her left arm and near her wrist from a surgery. Her phone and her car are missing.
Okay.
All right. Now that we got the important information out of the way, I'll say hello to my moderators in chat. Hi, Ronnie from Missing Persons. Hi, Christy B. Mel Max, so glad you're here. I saw Delana earlier. Caroline, thank you for being here, guys. So today we're just going to travel down the rabbit hole of the possibility that there was an abduction. And I really hate to even have to go down this avenue because it's just, I mean, all the avenues that we've gone down so far are sad and horrible, but I don't know. It's just everybody's worst nightmare. I feel it can happen to anybody at any age, male or female. I mean, there are human trafficking and all that is, out there. So I've been seeing people say that this is giving me Natalie Holloway vibes and all this stuff. So I appreciate the true crime community and their opinions and all you web sleuths out there who brainstorm and try to figure out what happens in these cases. And if some of you guys are feeling like this could possibly be an abduction, I feel like it was only fair to kind of brainstorm that theory. It's not my top theory. It's not really, I don't know, like I go with a lot of gut instincts when I review stuff, and I'm just not feeling like that's what it was. But again, I didn't get that feeling in the Summer Wells case at first. And then after kind of brainstorming with you guys and other creators, I kind of was open to that idea. This, however, I'm wondering in chat and for those watching on replay, who is under the impression that this could be an abduction? Like, I'd say like who thinks it's a top theory, I would say, because I know that everyone's kind of like anything's possible right now because we don't have answers. Press 1 in chat or comment down below number 1 if you're in the, strong belief that this is the scenario that happened to Kylie. I'm just curious to kind of feel out where you guys are. And while you comment in chat, I'll switch screens because I just want to run through some stuff quick before we get into some visuals I edited together. And again, guys, thank you for being here. Let me just pull this article up first. Okay, this was, I think, a few days ago, 4 days ago. The only thing I really wanted to kind of hone in on was the sweatshirt swap The sheriff's office recently announced that they have developed information that Kylie was seen in a video earlier in the evening at the party wearing the white sweatshirt. So the only reason why I really want to highlight this is because the sheriff's office has said the video was earlier in the night. So obviously they have the timestamp and they know exactly when that video was taken. And for us who are really out of the loop as far as like the nitty-gritty details of the timeline, I just wanted to kind of highlight this and bring it to everyone's attention. And, when we do other live streams, or if you guys hop in other people's live streams, keep in mind that the sheriff's office is saying the video of her wearing that white sweatshirt is earlier in the evening. So kind of just remember that. I just wanted to point that out to you guys and kind of give you guys your own timeline. It kind of makes you question even more why Sammy never mentioned the hoodie when she was talking about her outfit, numerous times and numerous media sources. She's never mentioned once this hoodie. And everyone knows earlier in the evenings, when you're partying or whatever, your memory should be, at least usually, is a little bit more sharp. It's more visual because you're less inebriated. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. It doesn't really have much to do with the title, but I think it is important that law enforcement is saying that that video that they have of Kylie wearing that white sweatshirt is from earlier in the evening. So that's just the first thing I wanted to pull up with you guys. Okay, let me check chat. I'm seeing 2s, so that's not the abduction theory. Okay, Dreamer is saying abduction. Melmax undecided. I feel ya. Yeah, like it's a lot right now. I mean, it seems like this case has been going on a while, but it really hasn't. Sorry, just got here and I didn't hear the question. I didn't know the updates on the couple. I'm behind. I don't even know the updates on the couple. I'm behind. Okay, so the couple was found in a ravine. Unfortunately, they were, I believe, ejected from the vehicle, deceased. So I think that I don't know the relation between that and the campground, though. So I'm curious, even though it could be unrelated and it seems like it's unrelated, that couple, I want to know exactly where they were. Yeah, a lot of people are just saying they're not really getting the abduction theory. And that's fair. I mean, that's pretty much where I'm at. I just think that it's a fair conversation since some people are saying that they're getting Natalie Holloway vibes. I think that it's fair. Even if you don't think something is the theory that you want to go down, I think it's useful to go down that avenue so that we can just immediately mark it off the list. And I think that that's what their task force was doing. I mean, that's what the law enforcement were doing by searching and searching and searching, putting in a bunch of resources. That's what the law enforcement were doing by searching and searching and searching, putting in a bunch of resources. That's what the blah. Okay, so sorry guys. I think that that's what law enforcement planned on doing when they decided to use a bunch of agencies and search. And then now they're saying that they're switching gears and doing a more tactful task force investigation. They wanted to mark off the fact that she possibly drove down into the ravine or into the water. All that had to be kind of knocked off their list first. And then now I believe that they're going to do a background investigation, re-interview people, etc. So this timeline I pulled up yesterday, and we've referenced it before. The only thing that I really wanted to kind of point out, first off, we talked about this yesterday, and I posted it on my community page. Authorities collect a bag of evidence from the campground, but do not release information about what they found. So that is interesting. And then I realized after ending my live stream yesterday that they said this, and again, this is People Magazine. I don't know how People Magazine is getting this information because this is the only place I've seen a bag of evidence being mentioned, but they're also mentioning on the 13th that search crews dig at a burial site they learned about from a tipster. They only discovered the remains of a dog who was recently buried, guys. Recently buried. I found that interesting. Maybe it has absolutely nothing to do with anything, but here it's saying that a tipster gave it to them. We've seen in other articles and mentioned that it was a searcher. So I'm confused on the discrepancy there, but I'm also, recently buried. That to me stands out. Do you guys think that that's noteworthy? I just wanted to share it with you guys. I don't know what it means, but I felt like that was noteworthy, especially if it was a tipster. Like, did they see something? Did they know something and then decide, like, yep, you're going to find it here? But at the same time, why would the FBI close the scene off and everything else? I don't know, guys. I'm still kind of hung up on this dog thing. We've heard that it was dog bones from media. We've heard that it was remains. Now here, People magazine is saying recently buried, and they knew what kind of animal it was. So that to me was interesting. I don't know what you guys are thinking about that. Yeah, a lot of people don't peach, and maybe it's not. I don't think the dog is related to the case. Yeah, but the thing is, like, if this is coming from a tipster, how did the tipster know that it was there? Like, if it was unrelated, maybe People Magazine is wrong. You know what I mean? Like, maybe they're reporting wrong stuff. So if I was an investigator looking at abduction, I think some guy, maybe girl, who had been mooning over Kylie or girls in general, then when everyone is baked state, essay, kidnap, death. I mean, yeah, get her inebriated. I mean, it happens. It happens all the time, guys. I hate to even like go there, but you know, girls and men can get taken advantage of very easily. So, where do I want to go from here? I shared those things with you guys. Okay. Alrighty. So now that we are kind of in the mindset of thinking that maybe this is an abduction, follow me down the rabbit hole. And let's kind of refresh our memory on the Natalie Holloway case. Yeah, I agree, Donna. Them taking her car, like, okay, it's one thing to abduct somebody or, get them tipsy, but like, why do you need their car? Like, you would think that that sounds like a premeditated plan. Like, we're going to get a girl and they won't see it coming and we'll just take them away. Like, why would you? It would be way too risky to abduct somebody with their own vehicle, I feel, because everyone would be looking for the vehicle and everyone is looking for this vehicle. So, super risky. A lot of people are saying not abduction. Peach is saying that's why I think it's an accident. For sure, for sure. I just have to do this to kind of knock it completely off my list and to say that we fairly brainstormed about this theory and we're going to just knock it off and not visit it again. But we'll see. We'll see. Because I have a Nancy Grace clip I want to play for you guys that she uploaded yesterday on her podcast in reference to this case. She's got a few experts on her panel. I don't always agree with Nancy Grace, but I do like that she has experts on her panel that kind of chime in with their opinion. So I definitely want to play that for you guys too. Let's refresh our memory a little bit on this 3-minute clip of Natalie Holloway. And let's see if it's given us those vibes. Hi, Mrs. Kurt Cobain. It's so good to see you. Yeah, this case is so suspect. I think that Sammy knows something. I do too, guys. And I want to be careful because obviously everyone's innocent until proven guilty. And I don't want to accuse anybody of anything that they didn't do. So all this I want to make clear is just my opinion, my speculation, feelings I'm getting. I almost am thinking that maybe Jagger was around that night. Again, it's just speculation. I'm not 100%. I'm sure authorities know his whereabouts. All right, so let me pull up a Natalie Holloway clip. It's only 3 minutes long. I sped it up a little bit, but I just think it's fair to kind of refresh our memory and compare it to a case where we know a teenager went off with some boys who didn't have good intentions. You know what I mean? So let me just put that on. We'll watch it a little bit and kind of imagine, is this what happened to Kylie?
Alabama native Natalie Holloway mysteriously went missing during a high school graduation trip. 16 years since Alabama native Natalie Holloway mysteriously went missing during a high school graduation trip to Aruba. And after all these years, we're still asking the same questions. What really happened to Natalie, and who is responsible for her disappearance? Despite the endless media attention and investigation hours poured into this case, a definitive answer of what happened that night has always remained out of reach. The basic facts of the case go like this. Natalie Holloway had a bright future ahead of her. She was a straight-A student who was planning to attend the University of Alabama on a full scholarship, according to NBC. Then in May of 2005, Natalie joined over 100 of her fellow grads on a trip to the Caribbean.
Okay, I just want to pause it real quick. Both blonde, both graduated with honors, both had plans for the future, both go on some senior escapade to celebrate. That's the only comparison I'm seeing so far.
According to multiple eyewitnesses, 18-year-old Natalie was spotted leaving a popular night spot with 3 men.
Okay, and it just said, according to eyewitnesses, Natalie was seen leaving with these guys. We don't have anybody like this in Kylie's case. So that's another thing to kind of note.
Joran Vandersloot, 17 at the time, and 2 brothers, Deepak and Satish Kalpo, who were 21 and 18 respectively. She was never seen again. Both Joran and the Kalpo brothers would go on to paint a murky picture of the night's events, offering different stories and then changing them later. The 3 suspects identified by police, particularly prime suspect Joran, would end up leading the Holloway family and authorities on a wild goose chase filled with twists and turns, lies, and misdirections. With no solid evidence, all 3 suspects were released with no charges and questions go unanswered. One of the strangest twists of this case is involving a man named John Ludwig, a friend of Joran. In the Oxygen doc series, The Disappearance of Natalie Holloway, he claimed that Joran paid him to help get rid of Natalie's body. In 2017, he even led Oxygen investigator Gabriel Madrigal to a site where they would eventually uncover bones. The discovery was shared with Natalie's father, Dave Holloway, and the Holloway's longtime private investigator, TJ Ward, who promptly reported it to law enforcement. 18 months later, the police confirmed through DNA testing that the remains were not Natalie's. TJ recently told E! News what it was like to come across the supposed lead.
Our forensics up in Washington, D.C. came back and said that one of the bones was human. Our forensics asked Beth to give us some DNA, and they gave us DNA. They tried to match, and there was no match.
In 2018, John Ludwig died after being stabbed by a woman he was allegedly attempting to kidnap, according to Tampa Bay Times. 7 people have been arrested, though none have been charged. Joran would flee to Peru and eventually face punishment for the murder of a different young woman named Stephanie Flores. According to his confession to police, he killed her after she found articles linking him to Natalie's disappearance. He is currently serving a 28-year prison sentence in Peru. The Calvo brothers are free and continue to deny any wrongdoing. Natalie's parents, Beth and Dave, who are divorced, spent years traveling to Aruba to find leads, but after a series of dead ends, they're slowly refocusing on their own lives. The case remains open. Natalie was formally declared deceased in 2012. While we still don't know exactly what happened the night she disappeared, her family hopes that someday the truth will eventually come out.
So that is, the scenario that it seems Sammy is trying to paint. I don't know if you guys get that vibe from Sammy. I mean, she said so herself. She thinks somebody took her. I feel like even Jagger's posts on Instagram or whatever, and I'll pull those up too from yesterday, are giving the impression like they're making it seem like he's speaking to somebody who took her. We have no reason to believe, from everything that we know, I mean, unless authorities know more, that, she was taken. Donna said, I don't believe there was even 300 people there. Well, law enforcement actually came out and debunked that. They did say, yes, it's confirmed. So, but yeah, we only have Sammy's word for it. She wants us to think abduction, and that's why no one has come forward with information. I agree. I'm not buying it. And thank you, X amount of words, for becoming a member. I'm so happy that you've joined our channel. If anyone else wants to join the channel, please, the link is at the top of chat. If you could just like the stream too, that also helps me out. So I don't know. I'm now that we've kind of refreshed our memory on the Natalie Holloway case, people saw her leave with those guys. We don't have anything like that for this one. But let's hear what Sammy has to say, because I did clip it.
Jane Darby's wanting to ask you, anyone that you notice hanging around her? Was there anybody was hanging around her? Did you notice anybody around her?
To be fully honest, I was inebriated at the time, so I wasn't.
I get it.
Fully attentive.
See how she was before she answered, though? She was shaking her head no. Because she knows that's the truth. Like, her subconscious is saying no, there was no one around her, but she's trying to explain that, you know, honestly, I was inebriated, so that's why she can't give this straight answer. But I don't know. I think it's evident there was nobody there, you know, sketchy around her, at least that we know of. I mean, if you guys disagree, let me know. Good morning, Ashley Oaks.
To be fully honest, I was inebriated at the time, so I wasn't
I get it.
fully attentive of who exactly was around us. We, again, when we were going around together, we were just in a lot of different huge groups of people we had never met, because her and I are similar in the sense that we're both very social. We'll talk to anybody we meet. We love
Right.
meeting people, and so that's what we were doing and
Oh,
everything.
And I would really love to know if Kylie is a really social person who loves to meet people, because I'm just wondering if Sam is even being honest about that aspect, which sort of makes it sound like, you know, because she's so friendly and loves meeting people, you know, she put herself up in a situation where she met the wrong person. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not believing just yet that she really was like this social, loves to meet people type of person. I don't know. Maybe.
You girls are amazing. Share your honest thoughts or opinion as to what you think may have happened to her. Do you care to share that?
To be fully honest, my biggest concern is that somebody, and I've said this in other interviews, somebody knew she was drunk, offered to give her a ride home, and they didn't give her a ride home. And they could be across the world at this point with how long she's been gone. And I'm worried that I have a feeling, and obviously, I don't know. I have a feeling that she is still alive and she's still out there and she's still fighting, but that there's somebody else involved. And that's not confirmed. That's just what I believe. I think there has to be somebody else involved in this. But yeah.
It's
the Amber Alert.
Okay, so that's her theory. She has nothing to give us to kind of make us think that that's a possible theory. She doesn't know who she left with. She doesn't even tell us when she said goodbye to her at 12:25. You know, who was Kylie with when you were saying goodbye to her? You know, like, who was she around? You know, you gave her a hug and said, I love you, be safe. But where the hell, or what was she doing? You know, what exactly was going on? And she said, I have a feeling. And I'm thinking, like, what is giving you the feeling that she was abducted? Like, there must be something that's giving you that feeling. But so this is from the first week of search. Just somebody had asked, you know, why no Amber Alert? So I just wanted to replay this and kind of hear law enforcement's answer about Amber Alert. Again, if they had reason to believe she was abducted, they've said over and over that they would up this to an Amber Alert. So that in itself speaks volumes.
Is a system for notification with suspected child abduction. Right now, we don't have any evidence that supports an abduction. Like we said, we're not ruling anything out, and that's why we're kind of pulling out all the stops.
So he just said, you know, we're not ruling anything out, but, you know, at that point, and, you know, to this day, with no Amber Alert or nothing for them to say, yes, we found out she left with this person. You know, it's not like the Natalie Holloway case where they had 3 guys that were seen around her and they left together. Witnesses saw that, you know. So Delana said, Sam gives us no information that she doesn't want us to know. I still want to know who did you ride home with, Sammy? Right. How did Sammy get home? What time did she get home? I don't know, guys. It's just the things that don't make sense to me. And again, this on the screen is Jagger's post yesterday. So go down this with me, guys. At 11:30, Kylie texts her mom and says, I'm going to be leaving in 45 minutes. So 45 minutes from 11:30 is 12:15, right? So Kylie law enforcement has confirmed this, had said to people that she wanted to go home, and that was around midnight. Elsa, another senior at the party, confirmed to seeing Kylie around midnight at the party. Sammy talks to Kylie on the phone. Well, first off, Sammy says goodbye to Kylie at 12:25. So according to Sammy, Kylie asked to stay later. So she should have left at 12:15, because she told her mom 45 minutes, and that was at 11:30. But according to Sammy, Kylie stayed past her extended curfew, and that's when she was saying goodbye to her at 12:25. So why would Kylie stay past the curfew time? Why is she leaving her at 12:25, knowing how drunk allegedly she is? And again, I haven't heard from anyone. I'm not including Ronnie because I'm not 100% sure on his legitimacy. But has anyone else said how drunk Kylie was that night? So she leaves Kylie at 12:25 and then claims that Kylie calls her at 12:36, even though law enforcement is saying right at 12:33, her phone is either turned off manually or the battery died. And at 12:36, Sammy is telling everyone that Kylie was still at the party because when she talked to me on the phone, I could hear people in the background. Hi, CDT. Good morning. So I'm just confused. One, why Kylie would, ask to stay later and then still be at the party as Sam's saying goodbye to her. And again, two, everyone wants to know is how is Sammy talking to Kylie on the phone at 12:36 when law enforcement is saying no, her phone had zero activity after 12:33. This is why I almost feel like something happened on the way home as she was leaving. But again, we don't have any witnesses saying they saw her car leave, but that doesn't really mean much. People could be busy. We don't exactly know where Kylie even parked the car. Maybe they had to walk a little ways to it. I'm not really sure about all that, but I just find it very interesting that she is basically saying that Kylie asked to stay later and then stays past the time that she told her mom that she was going to stay past, like if she's saying goodbye to her at 12:25 and Kylie had already told her mom that she'd be headed home around 12:15, I'm feeling like something happened on the ride home possibly, or left to a different location possibly. Meg's the friend who mentioned that there were guys there that were forcibly trying to make them take bong rips without her boyfriend present. That is the only thing that we kind of hear besides them saying that there was older guys there. And again, I talked about this yesterday. Just because there's older guys at a party doesn't necessarily make me think, older guys, she was abducted. Like that just doesn't really correlate with each other. Like, yes, it's kind of strange and problematic if you're older and you're drinking with minors and partying with minors, but that doesn't necessarily mean older guys took her, Natalie Holloway, there were people who saw guys walk off with her. Here we don't have that. So that's just where my thoughts are. And like I was saying, Mags is the only one who sort of insinuated there was some like aggressive type of guys there. But the only aggression that she was kind of describing was they were forcibly making her take bong rips. It's just very weird. It's not really flowing with my jive of maybe she was abducted. I'm just not thinking that. Hi, Rebecca. Thank you for becoming a member again. So this is Jagger's story from yesterday. This girl is my entire world. I need your help to bring her home. Please, there is no punishment. You will get $75,000 and a Hellcat, whether you have her or just know where she is. Anything helps. Please, I know what y'all would do if this was someone you loved. And he shared like an old picture of them hugging. I mean, it's very cute and sweet. Do you guys get the feeling that he's kind of saying that somebody has her like held captive? Is that what you guys are like kind of pulling from this? Because that's kind of what I'm like pulling from this. Like it seems like he's insinuating somebody has her, and this is his little like speech to them. Hi, Roxanne. Good morning. Okay, I've seen a photo of 3 girls at the party with a noticeable older man in the background. Can you send that photo to us so that we can see it? And besides, I mean, just because you think he looks older, I mean, maybe he like looked in his 40s. Interesting. I'd like to see that, and then I can pull it up and show everybody. But again, you know, does that necessarily mean she was abducted? I mean, you can get abducted by somebody in their 20s. You can get abducted by, you know, there's no age that basically profiles an abductor. Okay, my email is ambrd06@gmail. So he's claiming he wasn't at the party, Marie. We don't know exactly his location. I'm sure law enforcement does. I don't know. And good morning, Southern Mountain Girl. So this feels like some kind of gaslighting, trying to insert an idea to the public discussion indirectly. Right, like he's trying to say like she's being held captive maybe. I agree, there's a lot of key players that are shady. I feel like this kind of is like saying that somebody's got her, and this is his like cry out to them. This was his other one from yesterday. Show yourself, quit hiding, take the money and the hellcap and be effing happy. Quit making others suffer for your benefit. Help us bring Kylie home. I'm effing sick of this. $75,000 in a hellcat with no punishment. Imagine this was somebody you loved. So, what are you guys thinking about his posts? I mean, again, I don't know his location. He could be totally honest. I just thought that these stuck out to me. That's all. Like it looks like he's really thinking that somebody took her. And I don't know. These are statements again that Sammy made. Let me just pull up the Nancy Grace conversation and we can listen to that. It's only, I think, less than 10 minutes. And then we'll kind of get back into these visuals. And again, thank you guys for being here this morning. It's titled, People Aren't Talking to Us. Cops Say of Investigation into the Disappearance of Kiely Rodni. Let me know if you guys can hear it.
We're so scared and we miss her so much. To another gorgeous young girl missing. Take a listen to our friends at ABC 10.
Placer County deputies posted this just hours ago. They're searching for 16-year-old Kiely Rodni. She was last seen at a party near the Prosser family campground in Truckee. Deputies have set up a tip line and are now calling this an abduction. Also missing, Kylie's car, a silver 2013 Honda CR-V, California license plate 8YUR126.
So I don't know why they're saying authorities are calling this an abduction, because they're not, but that's just another example of media kind of misreporting things. I think at first they were thinking that. And then, like I said, I played that law enforcement clip where he's saying like, no, we don't think that. And that's why there's no Amber Alert. What do you think about the article that came out saying partygoers not cooperating with investigators? I think that that's interesting. I thought that that was interesting too when the media kind of asked the press secretary to follow up on that. And she basically said that it was an isolated incident and that everyone's been, for the most part, cooperative. So I'm not sure who this one person was, because she said isolated incident. I'm curious who it was and on what level of not being cooperative were they. I'm just super curious. And good morning, Scott. Good to see you. And can you guys hear it okay?
Her phone has been out of service since the party.
We just want her home. We're so scared and we miss her so much and we love her so much. And Kylie, we love you. And if you see this, please just come home. I want nothing more than to hug you. And if anybody else out there, if you know where she is, if you know anything about where she might be, if you have any ideas or thoughts, please come forward and share them. And we're not looking to like bust anybody else or get anybody in trouble. We just want to see our daughter home.
When she says, and you're hearing her mother speaking, when she said, I don't want to bust anybody or get anybody in trouble, to Sydney Sumner joining us, crimeonline.com investigative reporter, Kylie was at a big party, like a graduation party. There were like 200 or 300 students and friends there. Somebody had to see something. I don't want to get anybody in any trouble either, but I want to find this girl. Tell me what happened, Sydney.
Yeah, so the timeline for that night is that Kylie was at this party. She spent most of the night with her girlfriend, Sammy Smith. And Smith actually left before Kylie, and that's apparently the last time anyone can confirm that they saw Kylie after Sammy left.
So let me understand. She goes to the party with the friend. What's the friend's name? Sammy?
Sammy Smith.
And she doesn't leave with Sammy, right?
No, Sammy goes home by herself and leaves Kylie there.
Okay, and correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but didn't Sammy arrive separately? Like, she didn't. Here's another example of media kind of getting misinformation. Sammy showed up with somebody else, and Kylie showed up with Megs, right? I just want to get that ironed out while we're listening. Yeah, and it makes no sense why they won't come forward when it can be done anonymously. Exactly. That's why I'm not thinking abduction too. But yeah, it does seem like, yes, she went with Megs. Thank you, Ashley. I just want to make sure that people watching this on replay aren't just going to believe what Nancy Grace's little clip says. Okay, yes. So she arrived with Megs, guys. So she didn't arrive with Sammy. But on all accounts, it seems like they were together all night. Megs apparently left after being aggressively forced to take bong rips, allegedly.
Are in good spirits.
Why?
I don't think they were riding
Okay, so
together.
Kylie wanted to stay.
Yeah.
All right, they weren't riding together. That's an important fact.
Right.
And let me understand, where is this? Where did this happen? Where is Truckee, California?
Yeah, I've actually driven through Truckee a couple of times. It's right on the way if you're trying to get from Reno to Lake Tahoe. So it's basically this city that's right on the border in between California and Nevada. It's really small. I remember seeing a gas station. I think the population is less than 20,000 people.
Wow. Okay, see, that's so important. That's so important because it reduces the potential number of suspects, although it is in that stretch from Reno to Lake Tahoe. So you do get a lot of people going back and forth through there. Mm-hmm. What kind of party was this, Sydney Sumner?
It was at a campground. So it's actually at the Prosser Family Campground, a little bit north of the city.
The what?
The Prosser Family Campground is where this party was. So it was a little bit north of the city, Truckee, right next to Lake Prosser. And yeah, it seems like it was a huge party. There were kids coming out from San Francisco, apparently.
What kind of party was it, Sydney Sumner?
Apparently it was a senior farewell party. So you have juniors, seniors, college kids at this party.
It's sort of eerie in like a ironic way that it's called a senior farewell party.
Okay, so apparently everybody did not know everyone else. Mm-hmm. Take a listen now to our Cut 5, our friends at KOVR.
Here is a look at Kiely Rodni, 16 years old, 5'7", 118 pounds, blonde hair, and Placer County Sheriff's Office says they're treating this like an abduction because her car also has not been found. But let's show you some video from around this area where volunteers and search and rescue crews have been scouring the entire area around Prosser Campground, where she was last seen at about midnight Friday. She was at a senior farewell party.
senior farewell party. You are hearing our friends at KOVR. Now listen to our friends at ABC 10.
Kiely Rodni was last seen at a party here at the Prosser family campgrounds. About 100 people were there. And I want to show you what this area looks like so you can understand what authorities are up against when it comes to the search this morning. This is a heavily wooded area. A large body of water is here at the campgrounds, and they're looking up and down throughout this area trying to find her. This 16-year-old girl disappeared from the party. Her silver 2013 Honda CR-V is also missing, and her phone has been out of service since the party. According to the sheriff's office, the Honda has a California license plate.
California license plate, car missing, cell phone out of service since she left the party. Is that correct, Sydney Sumner?
Yes, that is correct. After she sent a text to her mother that she was coming home from the party at about 12:15 a.m. on Saturday, her phone goes silent.
That's what I just don't understand. She's supposed to be heading home at 12:15, but according to Sammy says goodbye to her at 12:25 and she was still at the party. I mean, unless Kylie lies to her mom a lot and asks to stay later and that she'll be home in 45 minutes and then stays later and is home in 65, 85 minutes. Maybe this is the norm, but why bother saying a specific time to your mother that you'll be home, especially when it's an extended time, and then stay later? I just am not believing Sammy about the whole goodbye. I said goodbye to her at 12:25 and she was still at the party. I'm just not really believing that.
And we haven't heard from it since.
Again, with me, an all-star panel to try to break down what we know right now. To Chris Byers, former police chief, Johns Creek. What do you think?
I think that they are treating this correct, that as looking at an abduction and not just a missing person, which is huge. So I hats off to the sheriff's department for treating this right, not trying to minimize what's going on. You always start looking where she was last seen and go outward. But I agree with the sheriff's department with the car missing as well. I would definitely be looking at this like an abduction.
From my understanding, to Dr. Sherry Schwartz joining me, forensic psychologist, apparently there weren't just the invitees there. Word got out, and apparently friends are saying a lot of older guys showed up and were trying to get the younger girls drunk. I mean, this little girl, Kiely Rodni, is just 16 years old.
Yes. And as I was listening, Nancy, I wondered, how did this go out on social media, right? Because this is how so many of us communicate nowadays, right? And so even if somebody's at the party posting or doing a live TikTok or Insta story, and there's people in the area, they come on by. There's people that maybe plan to be there because they saw it on social media, and hey, there's going to be high school girls there and maybe some college girls there. So it's one of those things that can get out of control fast, and then it makes it even harder.
Yeah. And we have a big time gap before she's reported missing. Take a listen to our friends at KOVR.
We also had the opportunity to talk to her mother, a very difficult time for her mom.
It was at 11:30. She told me that she was leaving in 45 minutes and going to be on her way home. I'm a terrible mother. I'd slept. I said, wake me up when you come home. And then I woke up at 8 a.m. and realized she hadn't woken me up.
I just feel so badly for the mother, her guilt that she feels about falling asleep and not realizing it till 8 a.m. But before I forget, I just want to say I'm very curious, the friends that were around Sammy that night, or Kylie, after Sammy has that alleged phone call with her at 12:36, I'm curious, did law enforcement, obviously they're looking at the friends' phones. They would ask, do you mind if I take a glance at your phone? And, they're sounding cooperative according to law enforcement. So I'm sure they handed it over. I'd like to know if Sammy, Megs, Jagger, if any of them had an outgoing text or call to Kylie's phone. Something like, hey, did you make it home? Or what time did you get home last night? Or I'm home now. How's it going? You know, did any of them try to attempt to contact Kylie after 12:36? You know what I mean? She said they talked on the phone at 12:36. She knew she was still at the party because she could hear people speaking in the background. But, you know, my girlfriends, even if we parted ways and went home, you know, I'd still maybe text them and be like, hey, did you get home or whatever? Like, I'm just curious if there's anything like that, or have fun camping, because we all know that she was going to go camping at 9 a.m. with people. So I'm curious if there's any digital evidence to show that they attempted to contact her, or, you know, something to kind of make it seem like they knew that they could reach her, possibly, you know, that they knew that something that looks like they didn't know that they couldn't reach her. Do you know what I mean? Am I making sense? All right, let me continue this, guys. And Scott, I'm interested in, okay, I'm looking at your comments now, because there's really not a lot in the chat right now who are believing the abduction theory, but you do, and I find that interesting and noteworthy, and I'm open to all theories. Yeah, there is a lot of situations where something bad has happened to somebody like Kylie. So it's definitely possible. Everything that we've looked at right now, I don't know. I'm just nothing is leading me to that. But Joseph said it bugs the shit out of me that Sammy doesn't seem to feel guilty for leaving her and she goes missing. I know, like, here we have the mother saying, like, I'm such a terrible mother. I fell asleep. You know, like, you can hear the sorrow and guilt. But Sammy, not once has one of the kids said, I am really beating myself up because I left her there. I shouldn't have left her there. Like, nobody has broken down crying. Not one tear. Or, I mean, just, you don't even have to cry. Like, express some sort of feeling that, like, what you did was wrong. We don't have that from any of them.
So responsible. She always checks in. She always texts me when she's out. And
So she said, Kylie is so responsible. She always checks in. She always texts me when she's out. So for her to have been at the party at 12:25 where Sammy's saying goodbye to her, I find that very hard to believe. The mother, you know, talked to her at 11:30. She said, I'm going to be leaving in 45 minutes. Okay, that's fine, dear. The mother's saying she's very responsible. So then why would Kylie still be at the party 10 minutes after the time that she's supposed to pretty much be heading home? You know, doesn't make sense.
lets me know, even checking in multiple times a night, even when she's out with friends.
So the behavioral evidence is that she always texts mom or friends, but as of that night, everything goes radio silent. So we, John Deal, now have an 8-hour gap.
Correct.
From the time she texts mom at 12:15 to 8 o'clock that morning, mom wakes up and realizes she's not there. That hurts the case.
Yes. Fortunately, though, there's two things that they're going to be looking at very carefully. Obviously, the cell phone, even though it wasn't responded, it may still be pinging, kind of like in the Michelle Parker case. And then most importantly is the car. And if this went on a highway anywhere, if it went into Nevada, that can be found, at least its location, somehow through different cameras. It can be tracked down.
What if the cell phone is underwater?
Well, that's another concern, but at least they know when it last pinged.
Exactly.
So that would be, the timing of it as to where it would last ping or was last operative is a critical piece in the investigation.
Yeah, and we don't know that, but we do know this. There's no Amber Alert. Curious, take a listen to our Cut 7, Forensic KOVR.
The CHP has not issued an Amber Alert in this case because they are saying that this is not a credible abduction at this point. They have no proof, according to their own threshold, that this, in fact, is an abduction. The Placer County Sheriff, they're saying that they are treating this as if she has been abducted because they can't find her vehicle. And as a result of treating it that way and putting this out there in that manner, the FBI is now also involved in the search for Kiely Rodni right now.
Interesting. It takes a lot to get the FBI involved. Take a listen to this.
The last person to speak to her by phone was her friend Sammy Smith, who was with her at the party.
That somebody else was involved is my main concern, and I think a lot of the people of Truckee and Tahoe feel the same way, just that there was somebody else involved. Because
So that's Sammy talking about somebody else being involved. And she said that's what a lot of people in Truckee are thinking. Who else in Truckee has said that? I'm really curious. Like, I'm not trying to be snarky. Like, I want to know, like, who else is under this impression? Okay. Yeah, the DD thing, the designated driver thing. That I need to refresh the facts on. But I will definitely speak on that once I get that ironed out. I just don't want to talk about something if I don't get the 100% facts. But yes, I will look into that for sure. And we can discuss that on the next update and case discussion.
They haven't found a car yet. They've done helicopter searches over Prosser and all of Truckee. Everybody's looking everywhere constantly for her and her car.
Well, the Placer County Sheriff's Office released a photo.
So Julie says in the early stages, Sammy gave an interview. I've got screenshots of it. Oh, cool. Can you email that to me? Actually, guys, you know what's a good way to kind of contact me too and kind of interact? If anyone has Facebook, I run multiple true crime Facebook groups, which are private, and you can join them and discuss other cases too in there with me. But it's called Open Discussions of Disturbing True Crime Cases. So you can post anything in relation to this case and other cases right in there, and we can kind of check it out as a forum together. And it's just a great way to kind of connect with all you guys somewhere else than just the live chat here. So it's called Open Discussion on Disturbing True Crime Cases. There's like 865 people there, but that is a good place to kind of post things that you want to discuss with me. And there'll be other true crime web sleuths in there too, like 865 of them. And also there's other creators that help me run the group. So CDT helps me run it. And if anyone watches Crazy Crime Chick, she's also helping me run it. And a bunch of other great moderators help me run that too. In fact, if any of the moderators here want to moderate that group, let me know and I'd be happy to add you because I trust you guys. So, or you can email me, and I'm very bad at checking emails. I'm sure people who've emailed me like can vouch for that, but it's ambrd06@gmail, and I can check everything out there. So yeah, please join that group. I share stuff all the time, not even just with this case. I look at old cases. It's very interactive. We'll even share like jokes and stuff. I know it's kind of strange to discuss like jokes when we're discussing true crime, but there are some stuff out there that's funny and that's entertaining and lighthearted, and we can kind of discuss that together too. Alrighty, so let me get back to this. And then I think that this might be everything. I'll have to go back to my visuals.
Of the type of car that Rodni owned and would have been driving. It's a 2013 Honda CR-V.
So we now know that she spoke to someone after speaking to her mom. That someone is Sammy Smith, who is now dedicating herself to the search. Listen.
Sammy Smith, one of Kylie's good friends, is organizing crews of community members who are looking for the teen across the Tahoe region. These flyers are posted in neighborhoods, downtown Truckee, and at campsites.
So this is where everybody's hanging out. Kylie and I were meeting up right here a lot.
Local young people call this open area near the Prosser family campground the Sanctuary. It's a
Okay, hold on. I'm about to add the Facebook link in chat, so you guys can just click the link and then join that way. It's called Open Discussion on Disturbing True Crime Cases. And CDT said, did you notice she also mentioned Tahoe people think someone else is involved? Really? I missed that. Like who? Truckee and Tahoe people think that there's someone else involved, basically? Yeah, but the phone pinged near Lake Prosser. What the? Okay, hold on. Here's the Facebook group. That's interesting. Thank you, CDT, for letting me know. So she says that she thinks she was abducted. People in Truckee are thinking that. And then she says, and people in Tahoe. What?
commonplace for parties. Sammy says she was here with Kylie Friday night, along with tons of other high school and college kids from the Bay Area all the way to Nevada.
The search for Kiely Rodni goes on. Tip line 530-581-6320. Goodbye, friend.
I was hoping that Nancy would give us a little more there, like her opinion or whatever, because usually she's, has no problem stating that. Hi, Looking Beyond. Thank you for being here. Hold on. Let's just look at Sammy's stuff. Tahoe's right next to Truckee. Okay. Thank you. I'm not very great at the geography out there, but I'm getting better. Good morning, Florida Bass Fishing. Yeah, I agree, Joseph. That's why sifting through this data is going to be so hugely important on this case. Exactly. Where was everybody the night that she went missing? Where was Jagger? Was he really in Napa? Everyone's coordinates. How can you hide a whole vehicle too? That's the other thing that's got us tripped up. Yeah, I agree, Crime Curious. And hello, how are you? I expected her to be suspicious of Sammy. Me too. Like, are they tiptoeing around it because of allegedly who her parents are? So I was leaving. Okay, the last time I saw Kylie was around 12:25 in the morning. Okay, so here's where I wish she was asked, who was she with? What was she doing? Like, I'm sure law enforcement have dug into that. She was having a fun time at a party, just being a teenager. Everything she drank, I drank out of, and there was nothing that seemed off about her, which makes me feel like it's the opposite, probably. Like something did seem off about her. I never expected this to happen ever. Nobody in this town did. Yeah, Joseph, I'm getting that feeling, but then I'm also like, I just don't know. I can't, unless I know his alibi is 100% solid. Because remember, we only have his alibi. Jagger's alibi is only coming from Sammy. She says he was in Napa. How can we trust that? You know what I mean? I need to know like exact coordinates. Let me see what other visuals are in here that I wanted to share. So this CDT brought to everyone's attention on her live stream. I found it with a little bit of highlighting too, so that we can kind of hone in on the details that matter. So this tipster talked to FBI Tuesday morning after Kylie went missing. The party was a half mile from their campsite. We told them we only saw a train of cars going to the party 9:30 p.m. and another large group of cars leaving the party at 12:30 a.m. Why is that right around the time frame of when her phone is shut off? It's just too coincidental. You know what I mean? So Sammy says goodbye to her at 12:25. Kylie's phone is non-existent after 12:33. And then these people are saying a large group of cars were leaving around that time. Here's where I get hung up. So if something happened and everyone's freaking out and leaving, not one person did the right thing and thought, I'm going to say something. It's just, I don't know, guys. Teenagers are capable of doing bad things. I 100% agree, because their brains are not fully developed. Their decision making is not, the best. But all these people are leaving around the time that Kylie's phone gets shut off. How is that possible? Car convoy means they were following each other somewhere. Yeah, that's the insinuation I'm getting. They all decide to leave around 12:30, or well, not all of them, a large group of cars. So right around the time that Kylie's phone is either shut off manually or died, all these cars are leaving. What's the deal with that? And again, this is hearsay. I just want to make it clear. Okay, Brookie, I was wondering if that was you, and because you've changed your name like 3 times. And I seen that video on No Thanks with Doug, and I thought that was very interesting. Yeah, I'll pull it up for sure. And just to clarify, that video, can you just tell everyone in chat, and I'll read your comment, how did you find this video? And are you under the impression that it was from the party? Because I was in and out of Doug's live stream, so I don't know the details on it, but I did see a little glimpse of it and I found it interesting. And good morning, by the way. So guys, I don't know, it's just way too strange that this tip that's coming in was, the cars were leaving right around the time that Kylie's phone was shut off. Like, is it possible that people are panicking and leaving because something happened? Why would they all choose to do the wrong thing though? That's where I get like, wow, really? You know what I mean? If Sammy helped organize it, why would she be leaving before everyone else did? Doesn't sound right. Right. Like, she goes to the car with Kylie to charge their phone. She works out a ride with Kylie at the car, or, walking from the car. And then she says, we get to the party, back to the party, and split up. Oh, by the way, this picture on the screen that Jagger liked, I have screenshots of other pictures of Sammy's that Jagger was liking too. So people were kind of saying like kids nowadays don't see likes as anything serious. I personally think it's noteworthy. Like, Jagger's friends with Sammy on social media, Sammy's friends with Jagger on social media, but Sammy isn't friends with Kylie on social media, and Jagger's over here liking her photos. To me, that's a red flag in a way. But yeah, so what I was saying is, why does she work out a ride with her and then leaves her, finds a different ride? Okay, so Brookie said, oh, no worries. I changed my name numerous times. Okay, so I was on Instagram and seen a few people so I went and looked into people who were mutual friends closest with those closest to Kylie, and it popped up. Found a bunch of them. Hell yes, it's noteworthy. What's noteworthy? Now I forgot what I said. Yeah, I don't know if they need the phone though. Like, well, I mean, they can access everything they can, like, through her cell phone company or whatever, but like, I don't know. Hopefully they've gotten Sammy's phone. I've thought Sammy was seeing Jagger all along. And remember, we have a post. I think I already shared it. Yep. I never dated Sammy. I dated Kylie. And this is coming from Jagger. And I brought up yesterday in my live stream that, that Jagger was liking that photo. Yeah. And there's other photos that are, I guess, risque, if you would say, that Jagger was liking of Sammy's. So here, we talked about it yesterday in my live stream. I never dated Sammy. I dated Kylie. But that doesn't necessarily mean that something wasn't going on with him and Sammy. You know what I mean? Like, he's just saying that he never dated her. So Sammy was never his official girlfriend. But that doesn't mean that there wasn't something more. Could be wrong, though. You know what I mean? Did they say her iPad was at her mom's house? I wonder what they may have found on that. iPhone and iPad are usually synced due to iTunes purchases, right? So that's interesting and a good question, because the iPad certainly would have some sort of forensic evidence or trail of evidence if they're linked, which, like Scott said, and like mine, they are linked. But at the same time, you can set it up where your messages don't get linked to your iPad. So if you want to keep your messages private, you can set it up where like people can't open your iPad and have it there. You know what I mean? So it would be interesting to know. And Scott says, yes, the iPad is at home. They can download all the apps and text messages. Right. I wonder that too, Drew Cipher. Was Sammy the reason that Jagger and Kylie broke up? It's a good question. It's fair. At first, I discredited any connection like that because I was like, there's nothing to show for that besides the social media followings. But now that I'm seeing the liking of the photos, and, you know, they're not just photos of her and her friends, like Jagger's liking risque, quote unquote, photos of Sammy. Sammy is a player? Maybe. Oh, okay. So you can change the setting at any time and then it will link up, Scott. That's good to know. They would need her Apple ID password for that, no? Sammy talks like Jody Sue. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's like you have to pick a topic that she's talking about and just screen record that and go over it like 3 times to kind of weave through things because she gives so much added detail that we just don't care about and don't need, right? And for those who just joined now, we played a very quick clip of the Natalie Holloway case because people were thinking that this case was similar to that one. That's why we're kind of questioning, was this a possible abduction? So that was, now that for those who watched the beginning to now, are you guys feeling like this is a possible abduction? Like, did our brainstorming today kind of make you think that it's possible or change your mind a little bit, or what is going on with you guys in chat? Because, and for those watching on replay, because, you know, we have other cases like the Natalie Holloway one to kind of compared to, and I believe, and I could be wrong, but the Natalie Holloway case, I don't think had as many people at the party. You know, so this one's got 200 to 300 people there. Natalie Holloway had, I don't know how many, but there were eyewitnesses who said, yes, I saw her leave with those guys. I saw them together. And then police followed up on those guys. And sadly, they never found her. I believe she's in the ocean, but that's just my opinion. I'm thinking maybe the only similarity is, you know, they were both honor students, both celebrating their graduation early, both beautiful girls. But I'm just still, there's nothing to lead me to think that this was a scenario where she went off with a guy. The car missing gives me pause on abduction. That's how I feel. That's how I'm really feeling, because there's just no need to take the car. And if they were abductors, how would they, like, say they took her and then they seen her car and they're like, oh, we got to get rid of the car. Like, even if they didn't take her in her own car and they got rid of the car, like, where is the car? And like, how did they know that that was her car? You know what I mean? Like, if they're trying to confuse things. Did you see all the writing down Sammy's legs? Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, and her knee, it looked like she was covering up some bruises. I wonder if they had a fight. I went in, we kind of honed in on the bruising in her legs yesterday in my live stream. If you guys want to check that out, it does appear like her knees have some bruising, but Scott says there's no evidence otherwise. If she's in the water, someone put her there to wash evidence. From everything we know now, she was led away by a person and driven away, far away. Nobody's looking far. The thing too is, like, Sammy saying she could be halfway across the world right now. Like, I'm just thinking, like, it's probably the opposite of what Sammy's saying. Like, she's probably close by. And Sammy's trying to convince us and point us over there. I believe I just blew up your Insta. Oh, I'll check it out. Sammy was there without a car. Yeah, we'll find the car a lot more easily. That is key, in my opinion. I agree. Okay, no Amber Alert, and they didn't post her vehicle info until after the 8 hours. So nobody's looking for her car. and her for over 8 hours, taking her car would be simple. True. They definitely had a lot of time. If the mother didn't notice till 8 in the morning, the car could be 8 hours away or 4 hours away. Then they drive back 4 hours. And even still, they go to, in the morning, Kylie's mother goes to the Starbucks to meet up with Kylie's friend that they were supposed to meet up there at 9 in the morning to go camping. When did Kylie's mom reach out to Sammy and Jagger? You know what I mean? Like, so if that was at 9 in the morning, I mean, they had ample time to hide this vehicle, drive it away, far away, or hide it in a garage or something. Good morning, Allison. Thank you for being here. Yeah, you think whatever Sammy says, it's the opposite too. She's saying don't look across the country. Possibly. And yes, please hit that like button. Right, that's true. Well, I'm just thinking by your comment, Insanely, how did the abductors know that Kylie's car didn't have some sort of tracker on it? You know, like if it has a GPS system, there's a way to access where your car is, I think. If it's set up correctly, maybe somebody knows. But not only that, but they have like those Apple AirTags, and they have devices that parents can buy for teenagers where it checks your vehicle like location, and it alerts you as the parent to know like if your child is speeding in the car. Like there's things that cars can be equipped with where parents have a way to kind of monitor it and this and that. So how did the abductors know that Kylie's parents weren't that type? You know, that would have been kind of risky to take her car. Yeah, and true. How did the abductor get there at the party if he or she left in Kylie's car? And then the other thing is like, why is this train of cars leaving at right around the time that her phone is no longer in existence? If it's an abduction, you know what I mean? And why is Sammy's statements not adding up if this is just some abduction? Like there would be no reason for her to kind of be sketchy, you know what I mean? Like unless we're going to believe that she had something to do with it, but that's kind of reaching in my book. And again, I'm not saying it's not possible 100%. I'm just saying like after kind of discussing this and thinking it through, my brain just is not going towards abduction. For me, planned abduction would lead to a burned out car in the woods someplace. The best way to dispose of DNA plus a traceable car. True. Just get rid of the VIN, get rid of the plates, everything, and DNA and evidence. Okay, let me pull up Brookie's video that she's found. So let's see. Give me 1 second, guys, to pull that up. So actually, Brookie, while I'm pulling this up, can you just comment again in chat, like what exactly we're looking at? Something that you believe. Okay, this blue light party was May 29th, 2022. I'm looking at the caption right now. 1 second, I'll share my screen. So Florida Bass, who works for Apple, AirTag would have been amazing. Doesn't need Wi-Fi to work, works off another's device's Bluetooth and signal via iCloud. Every teenager should have an AirTag on them for these types of situations. Yeah. Those seemed super, like a very convenient invention. And they are perfect for, you know, if you have teens and stuff like this. I mean, sorry, kids, you're going to be monitored till you're out of my house. Okay, this blue light matches the blue light pics they released, but this was posted. Okay, so this is pretty much possibly a replication of the type of scene that was at the party that night. Am I understanding that, Brookie? And yes, I will check that out for sure after this live stream. If I had a kid, I'd embed 2. LOL, my dogs are chipped. Yeah, it's basically the same thing, those air tags, like a chipping. Unfortunately, with the released information thus far by law enforcement, she either ran away for no reason or met with foul play. Definitely. I know that's bad guys burn cars to get rid of evidence on or in them. They know the vehicle will be traced, but the bad guys are not associated with it after burning, right? So this could possibly be what the party was like. It's like a rave scene. A lot of people wearing white, though. And isn't it weird that Sammy wanted everyone to wear white in solidarity, like when they were at the community meetings, etc.?
What's going on here, man? Holy fuck,
We're getting
man.
Yikes. I don't know. At this point, I'm still in the mode of this was just I don't know. I'm really not thinking abduction. Like I just, that's not how I'm talking this through with you guys. Like it's just not really making me feel like it was an abduction. That's how I'm feeling. I'll do the vote like I did in the beginning of the live stream. Press 1 in chat, or if you're watching this on replay, down in the comments below, press 1 if you're thinking this was abduction. Press 2 if you're not getting that vibe, and don't just say no because I'm thinking no. Like I really want to know like what the community is thinking and all that. So let me know, guys, in chat. I feel like that was everything I kind of wanted to talk about. I will check Twitter to see if there's anything new. Nothing of significance that's noteworthy and new to share with you guys on Twitter, sadly. And, you know, it's like, it very well could have been an abduction. Like, I'm not going to say absolutely not, but so I'm seeing two. I believe Sammy left with Kylie in that car. Thinking that too. I think Sammy might have even been driving or something. We have a 1. Scott, yes, we know abduction was his theory. If it was, it's her friends who did it. I mean, that would be crazy. If there's not an abduction, there should be evidence near foul play. And we did discuss in the beginning of the live stream how that article said that they collected a bag of evidence from the campground, and it's on my community page too, but we don't know what they collected. So, and they're saying, law enforcement is saying, no sign of abduction to them. Obviously they know more than we know. This hasn't been upgraded to an Amber Alert, so I just feel like abduction would have definitely been an Amber Alert. Yeah, she slipped up and said that she was driving or I know what you're talking about, her slip up. And at one point, when she does that convincing language, when she says, I was in the passenger seat, it's just too much. And thank you guys for being here. That pretty much is going to conclude everything. It's too late for an Amber Alert anyways. Yeah, because there's like protocols and things that need to be done within a set amount of time frame. So, and that takes a lot of money and resources, but at the same time, they have the FBI involved. So just like in the Summer Wells case, she's now 6, but when she went missing, she was 5 years old, June 15th, 2021. They upgraded it from an endangered child to an Amber Alert overnight. They even added in the FBI CARD team. So the CARD team is a special task force that specifically hones their investigation and has their skills specific to child abduction. So since FBI is involved in this Kiely Rodni case, I would assume that they're also pulling out the CARD team and using their expertise in this. So if, I just hope we get something new. Yeah, I mean, it is interesting that FBI did get involved because we've heard that it takes a lot for them to get involved. So, but could it be over state lines? Like they think that they drove her out of California? And I'm saying not just the abductor, like could anybody have decided to do that? So they decided, even if it's foul play, so they decided to get FBI involved. I don't know. There's a lot of questions we have, and we still need a lot of answers. Thank you, Brookie, for becoming a member. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate all of you guys. If you could just like the stream on your way out, that's much appreciated. So Kylie supposedly gave Sammy a ride home. Maybe someone followed them and Sammy got in that car. I don't know, just throwing things out there. I mean, it's possible. According to Sammy, she left Kylie there. So it's probably the opposite of what Sammy's saying. So I'm feeling like they did get in the vehicle together. I don't know where they were going, where they were headed, where exactly they got in the vehicle together. Like, was her car parked somewhere else and a ride brought them to that vehicle? Or I don't know. There's a lot of things and avenues that we could go down. Well, the fact her car is missing too is why it didn't meet the Amber Alert criteria, in my opinion. I agree, because they need a description of the vehicle. They said that time and time again. They even said that in the Watts case, remember? Because Chris asks the FBI agent, Coder, he's like, Coder says, is there anything else you think that we need to be doing to help find your wife and your kids? And Chris says, Amber Alert. And Coder says, well, those are actually specific resources we save. Like if we have a description of a vehicle and where it was headed, did you have any idea that she got in a vehicle or something? And Chris says no, so they never put out the Amber Alert. So there is protocols that need to be taken for something like that. So yeah, I'm thinking because they have no idea where the phone or the car is, that they never thought it was qualified for a Amber Alert. It's just, I don't know, it's crazy. Thank you, Mel Mag. We so appreciate your input. Tap that thumbs up, please. It means so much for me. Yeah, it does. It really does. And I just really appreciate you guys. And we'll talk very soon. I normally don't do live streams on the weekend, but if there is anything of significance, I'll definitely pop on if I get the window. CDT says, I still don't see how Summer Wells got an Amber Alert. I'm glad she did, but there was no vehicle description. And in my opinion, Summer definitely wasn't abducted. I agree. And FBI and everything, law enforcement has said to the public, they have no reason to think it was an abduction either. So why did she get the Amber Alert? Sometimes Amber Alerts are used when one parent takes the child away, like if they got in an argument and one parent decides, I'm taking off with our kid. Then they'll like, I don't know, guys. It's just very interesting. And I feel like every state is going to be different with when they want to tap into that type of resources and money and all that, because I don't know, guys. Good morning, Twisted Gemini. Please watch this on replay because we are bouncing right now. But thank you guys so much for being here, and appreciate each and every one of you guys. And we will talk very soon. If you're looking for another live stream on the case to kind of jump on and brainstorm, I highly recommend CDT. She's having a live stream at 11:15. So pop on there. It's titled Kiely Rodni Missing. People aren't talking to us. So that is a live stream that you guys can jump on too if you want to continue this discussion. I'll be there as well. And yeah, I'll just see everybody soon. So goodbye, guys.